The spaceship trembled as it pierced through the thick, icy clouds of Glaciera. Outside the viewport, the planet stretched endlessly in shades of blue and silver, a frozen world where the wind seemed to sing in high-pitched tones. Captain Armin stared out at the shifting ice plains, a mix of awe and anxiety gripping him. Humanity had traveled far, but no one had ever set foot on this world. The mission was a triumph of science and courage, but the crew knew they were walking on the edge of the unknown. Inside the cabin, the crew worked quickly, checking the systems and ensuring the landing was as smooth as possible. Lieutenant Myra adjusted the thermal controls, her gloved hands moving with precision, while Engineer Kesh ran diagnostics on their suits. "Captain, the storm outside is stronger than expected. Magnetic interference is high. We might face difficulties if we land now," Kesh reported, frowning at the readings. Armin nodded but felt the pull of curiosity. "We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Prepare for landing. Keep the suits on full thermal output and double-check your environmental shields." "Environmental shields failing," Myra shouted, her voice filled with urgency. Kesh rushed to the control panel. "The heaters are malfunctioning. The magnetic interference is blocking all systems. We're going to land exposed." Crew members hugged themselves, teeth chattering despite the suits. Armin's mind raced. Survival depended on quick thinking, but nothing in their training had prepared them for a planet this harsh. The ship touched down with a heavy thud, shaking violently. The hatch opened to reveal a landscape that was both beautiful and terrifying. Jagged ice formations jutted from the ground, sparkling like diamonds in the faint light of Glaciera's twin suns. The wind howled across the plains, and the cold bit through even the thickest layers of the crew's suits. They stepped outside cautiously, each foot sinking slightly into the frozen ground. The world was silent except for the wind, which seemed to carry whispers of distant storms. Kesh pulled his hood tighter around his face. "We didn't prepare for this kind of cold," he muttered, his voice almost lost in the howling wind. As the crew struggled forward, shivering and tense, a sudden warmth touched Armin's hand. He froze, looking around, but no one was near him. The warmth grew, spreading through his body, easing the freezing pain. Before he could question it, a figure appeared from the mist. She was unlike anything the crew had seen. Tall and elegant, with glowing skin that shimmered like liquid gold, she moved with a grace that seemed to defy the icy wind. Her eyes were large and luminous, reflecting the pale sunlight, and her hair floated around her head as if weightless. Armin instinctively took a step back, unsure if this was a threat or a miracle. "Do not fear," she said, her voice melodic and soothing, carrying easily across the wind. "I see you are cold. I can help." She raised her hands, and a gentle glow emanated from her palms. The icy air around the crew began to soften, warmth spreading like a blanket. Crew members gasped in amazement, their chattering teeth finally slowing. Even Kesh looked stunned, his mouth open as if he could not find words. How is this possible?" Armin finally asked. "I can share warmth," the alien said simply. "Your clothes are unnecessary. Trust me, and you will be safe." The alien guided them further into the ice plains, her glow creating a safe path through the sharp formations. The cold was still present, but it no longer felt like a threat. Armin felt a strange sense of calm, as if the planet's harshness had softened under her presence. As they walked, she spoke in a language they did not understand, yet somehow the crew comprehended her meaning. Words were not necessary. Her gestures, the changes in warmth, the way she moved with the wind, it all conveyed guidance. Myra laughed softly, unable to help herself. "I never thought I'd follow an alien through a frozen wasteland without a coat," she said, shaking her head. The alien's glow pulsed softly, as if she understood and appreciated the humor. "You humans are curious," she said in broken but understandable English. "You survive where others cannot because your spirit is warm, not just body, spirit." After hours of walking, the alien led them to a sheltered cavern hidden beneath a wall of ice. Inside, the air was calm and the temperature was stable. The crew marveled at the beauty of the cave. Crystals hung from the ceiling, catching the light from the alien's glow, creating a rainbow of colors. "This will be your resting place," she said. "You must learn to survive here. Warmth alone is not enough. You must adapt." The alien's glow brightened as if pleased. "Yes, that is why I help. You are different. Others would freeze. You endure." Yet with the alien's guidance, they felt a flicker of hope and excitement. The unknown no longer seemed purely dangerous. It seemed like an opportunity. As Armin lay down, wrapped in the warmth radiating from the alien's presence, he realized something important. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or suits, or even in training, it was in the human heart. Curiosity, courage, humor, and resilience were the true survival tools. Here, in a frozen world at the edge of space, those traits had carried them through the first challenge. And this was only the beginning. Morning came slowly on Glycera, the icy plains glowing in pale light as the twin suns rose. Inside the crystal cavern, the alien woman's warmth created a gentle comfort that replaced the sharp bite of cold outside. The crew had slept better than they thought possible, their bodies still adjusting to the strange, unearthly energy that surrounded them. Even the most skeptical of them, Kesh, admitted quietly to himself that the alien's presence was something beyond technology, something almost magical. Armin stretched, feeling a warmth that seemed to seep into his bones. He looked at the alien, who stood silently, radiating calm. Her glowing eyes reflected curiosity and amusement as if she were observing not just humans, but their spirit. "You're awake," she said softly. "We have much to do today." "This sounds like an adventure already. What do we do first?" "Are we talking about some kind of alien magic?" Yet surprisingly, they did not shiver as much as they expected. The alien raised her hands, and the air around them seemed to shimmer and shift, creating a subtle protective field that kept the freezing air at bay. Armin looked at her in wonder. "You said clothes don't matter, but this is incredible. How do we do it ourselves?" "Not just touch or see, but feel energy. Wind carries it, ice stores it, your mind can move it, shape it, share it. This is nothing new." "Show us how." "I feel it." "You are not bound by fear here. Fear slows, curiosity speeds." "This is incredible," Myra said, spinning with laughter as her warmth caused a small spiral of frost to rise and dance in the air. "We're actually controlling ice and wind." Humor, joy, cooperation, these are the real strengths. You survive the planet because you work together, because you laugh in hardship, because your hearts are not frozen like the ice. They had turned fear into curiosity and play. As they experimented, a sudden wind picked up, stronger and colder than before. The alien's glow flared, warning them of danger. The ice under their feet shifted slightly, cracking in thin lines. The crew's hearts raced, but this time there was no panic. They worked together, pooling their newly learned abilities. Myra focused on warming the air, Kesh stabilized the ice with a controlled flow of energy, and Armin guided their movements, keeping everyone safe. The storm passed as quickly as it arrived, leaving sparkling frost in its wake. The crew laughed, exhilarated and slightly exhausted. "This is incredible," Armin said. "We came here expecting to survive. Now it feels like we're actually thriving. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm happy we got stranded here. I only help you see it. Humans are always capable of more than they believe. That is why I watch your kind with hope." They had faced cold that could have killed them and instead had found a way to thrive. Before sleep, Armin spoke quietly. "Tomorrow, we learn more, we figure out how to survive fully. But tonight, we remember what we learned today, that humans, we find ways, always. And we survive, that's humanity, right?" The aliens' presence, combined with their own growing abilities, created a sense of safety, comfort, and excitement. They were far from home, on a world where nothing seemed certain, yet they were not afraid. Not completely. Because they had learned to trust themselves, their ingenuity, and the strange, wonderful guidance of the alien who had appeared like a light in the frozen dark. And in the quiet hours of the night, Armin realized that survival on Glycera was no longer just about warmth or protection. It was about learning, growing, and embracing the unknown. Humanity's journey had begun again, and this time it felt like they were exactly where they were meant to be. The morning light on Glycera was sharper than the previous day. The twin suns reflected off the ice, scattering shards of light across the vast plains. The crew emerged from their cavern, feeling more confident. Each step they took seemed less tentative, their control over warmth and energy steadily growing. Even Kesh moved with a little more spring in his step, amazed at how their strange new skills allowed them to adapt to the harsh cold. The alien woman walked ahead of them, her glow soft yet steady. She seemed to be guiding them toward a distant ridge where the ice was jagged and uneven. "Today," she said, her voice carrying easily over the whispering wind, "you will learn not just to survive, but to see. The world here is full of hidden energy. Some is gentle, some is strong. You must understand the difference." Myra laughed as she felt her control over warmth extend beyond herself, gently heating a patch of ice nearby. It's like playing an invisible piano, she said. If you focus, the notes respond. Glaciera teaches patience. You cannot force it, you must follow its rhythm. Let the energy guide you. By midday, they reached a plateau that overlooked a vast frozen valley. The sight was breathtaking. Mountains of ice rose like jagged towers, and the valley stretched endlessly, glimmering in silver and blue. The wind carried distant sounds, soft, melodic vibrations that seemed to hum in harmony with the planet. "This is incredible," Myra whispered. "It's alive." You see with your mind, not just your eyes. Life is not always what you expect, even here, even in cold, even in stillness. It seemed to pulse faintly with energy. "This is a test," she said. "You must use what you have learned. You must read the ice, follow its patterns, and create warmth in a way that does not disturb it. Only then will you understand the balance here." "It's frozen solid." Carefully, she extended her energy into the surface, warming it just enough to create a thin layer of mist above the ice. It danced gently in the air, reflecting the twin suns. "See," the alien said. "You touch, you adjust, you guide, not force, not break, harmony." He froze, worried he had failed, but the alien glowed brighter. "Mistakes are part of learning. Adjust, do not fear. Humans thrive because they try again and again." "I actually did it." "You can harmonize with even the most alien environments." They experimented with patterns, laughter echoing across the valley as they accidentally created mini geysers of warm mist or spinning tornadoes of frost. "Look at that!" Myra shouted, pointing at a swirling pillar of mist. "It's beautiful." Humanity had always thrived in the face of challenges. Here, on a frozen, unknown world, they were doing it again, not just surviving, but learning, adapting, and even creating beauty. As the suns dipped low in the sky, the alien led them to another part of the valley where ice had formed a natural amphitheater. "Here you will rest," she said. "But tonight the test will continue in your dreams." Energy guides not just body but mind. Sleep and let the planet teach you. These traits allowed them to explore, to create, and to thrive in environments that others might fear. In the middle of the night, he felt a subtle pulse beneath the ice, like a heartbeat. It was faint but rhythmic, almost musical. He realized that Glaciera itself was alive, in its own way, responding to their presence, to their energy, to their curiosity. When the crew awoke, they felt refreshed and more attuned to the planet. Myra laughed as she guided a small wave of warmth to spin a pattern on the ice, forming intricate frost shapes that glimmered in the sunlight. Kesh, usually skeptical, marveled at the patterns he could create. Armin, looking at his crew, felt a sense of awe. Humanity was capable of so much more than they often realized. The alien watched silently, her glow steady and reassuring. "You have learned much, you have adapted, you have begun to understand, but the journey is not finished. Glaciera has more lessons and you have more to teach yourselves. Humans are capable of growth in ways even they do not imagine." They were far from home, on a frozen world at the edge of space, yet they felt more alive than ever. Together, they had not only survived, but thrived, learning the strange new rules of Glaciera while discovering the strength within themselves. By midday, they began a new exercise, navigating a small ice canyon that twisted and turned like a frozen river. Each step required focus, observation, and control of their energy. The alien guided them, offering subtle hints and encouragement. Mistakes were met with laughter rather than fear, and successes with quiet pride. They discovered that even the smallest adjustments, tilting a hand slightly, shifting weight, focusing thought, could change the flow of energy. The canyon seemed to respond to their confidence, the ice bending and flexing as if alive, guiding them safely to its end. As they emerged, the alien spoke again. "See how you have learned? Energy flows, ice shifts, wind dances. You are part of it, not a part. Humans do not merely survive, they harmonize, they create, they endure. That is your gift." Humanity's strength was not in dominance or power, but in adaptation, in learning, in cooperation. Here, on a planet that could have been hostile and deadly, they had found balance. And more than that, they had begun to enjoy the journey. The crew spent the evening sharing stories, laughing over their earlier mistakes, and marveling at the patterns they had created. Even Kesh, who had doubted everything at first, admitted quietly, "I didn't think we could do it, but we really did, together." Night fell and the twin suns dipped below the horizon, leaving the valley bathed in soft starlight. The aliens' glow mingled with the stars, a reminder that they were not alone. Humanity had taken its first real steps in understanding Glaciera, and in doing so had discovered something deeper. the power of curiosity, creativity, and courage. And as Armin drifted to sleep that night, he realized that humanity's journey was only beginning. The planet was vast, the mysteries many, but the human spirit was stronger than any cold, any challenge, any unknown. With courage, humor, and trust, they would continue to thrive, even in the farthest reaches of space. The morning on Glaciera began with a crisp, sharp air that carried a sense of urgency. The twin suns barely rose above the horizon, their light glinting off the icy ridges and sparkling plains. The crew felt stronger than the day before. Their control over energy and warmth had improved remarkably, and confidence moved in their steps. But today, the alien woman's calm expression suggested that a new challenge awaited them. "You will travel farther today," she said, her voice carrying across the ice like a gentle bell. "The planet tests those who wander. You must trust your skills and each other. There are lessons in the unexpected." Kesh concentrated on stabilizing the icy ridges that threatened to collapse under their weight. For hours, the crew navigated the frozen landscape, learning to read the rhythm of the wind and the ice. The alien walked beside them, guiding silently, occasionally offering gentle hints. "Do not rush. The planet rewards patience. Strength comes from understanding, not force. Trust your skills." "Then we create our own shelter," Armin said. "Myra, focus on shaping the ice near us. Kesh, stabilize it. I'll coordinate." Kesh directed the energy to strengthen the structure, while Armin monitored their combined flow, adjusting where the ice felt unstable. The aliens' glow enveloped them, guiding subtly, yet allowing the humans to take the lead. The wind howled, and the storm arrived in full force. Blinding snow and freezing gusts battered the crew's temporary shelter. But they were safe inside, the walls bending slightly under pressure but holding firm. Myra laughed in amazement. "We built this together." The alien floated nearby, her glow steady, occasionally guiding a subtle shift in energy to prevent a collapse. During the storm, they discovered unexpected lessons. The ice could store warmth if layered carefully, releasing it slowly to maintain a stable temperature. Small ridges could channel wind away, creating calm spaces. Even the storm itself had patterns that could be anticipated with careful observation. "This is incredible," Kesh said, his voice filled with awe. "It's like the storm is teaching us and we're actually learning." Humans grow stronger when challenged. The crew emerged from their shelter, exhausted but exhilarated. The valley looked different now, the patterns of ice and snow altered by the storm's fury, yet somehow harmonious. Armin looked at his crew. "We survived the storm, yes, but more importantly, we learned. We didn't just endure, we adapted. That's humanity's strength." Humans survive not because they are strongest, but because they learn, adapt, and trust each other. You are rare among life forms. You endure where others fail. "And a little bit of stubbornness," he smiled wryly. "That counts too." "Everything here has a purpose," Armin said. "Even the storm taught us something. That's amazing. On Earth, we fight storms. Here, we work with them. You create harmony, even in chaos." "But we didn't panic. We worked together, used what we learned, and turned danger into survival. That's what makes humans special. That's what makes us strong." "That's humanity." Outside, Glaciera's frozen plains lay quiet, the storm's fury replaced by a calm that felt almost alive. The valley itself seemed to breathe with them, responding to their harmony, to their presence, to their ingenuity. In the quiet of the night, Armin reflected on the day. Humanity's journey was not just about survival. It was about learning, creating, and discovering the strength within themselves. Glaciera had tested them, challenged them, and revealed their potential. They were far from home, on a world that could have been hostile, yet they thrived. The aliens' gentle glow watched over them, a reminder that they were not alone. Humanity's spirit, curiosity, and courage had turned an icy world into a place of growth and discovery. And as they drifted to sleep, the crew knew that no challenge, no storm, no unknown world could extinguish the strength that burned within them. And for the first time, they felt not just the warmth of survival, but the warmth of potential. Humanity's remarkable ability to endure, adapt, and thrive, no matter how strange or harsh the universe might be. The morning on Glaciera arrived with a gentle quiet, the twin suns casting soft golden light across the frozen plains. The storm from the previous day had vanished, leaving the landscape sparkling and calm, almost serene. The crew emerged from their ice shelter, stretching and adjusting to the cold, though now it felt easier. The alien woman's presence created a steady warmth that moved with them like an invisible shield of calm energy. Armin looked at the horizon. Today felt different. The valley stretched ahead, wider and more intricate than ever. Ice formations rose like towers, ridges twisted into natural labyrinths, and small pools of frozen water reflected the sunlight like mirrors. He felt a deep sense of awe. Humanity had survived, adapted, and now they were beginning to understand the rhythm of this frozen world. Today, the alien said, her glow soft and luminous, you will see how far you have come. You have learned to survive, to adapt, to trust each other. Now you will learn to create, not just to live, but to thrive and leave your mark. You will use your knowledge, your energy, and your cooperation to shape the environment in harmony with it. Not to dominate, but to understand, to communicate, and to honor the world. We've come this far, and I think we're ready. Kesh discovered how to use subtle pulses of energy to guide the wind, creating soft currents that carried warmth and sound across the plains. Armin focused on patterns that connected their efforts, weaving their individual energies into a larger harmony. Slowly, the valley began to change. Frost lifted, mist danced in graceful arcs, and the ice itself seemed to shimmer with life. The crew laughed in delight, amazed at the beauty they could create together. The alien watched silently, her glow brightening slightly. You see now, she said softly. Humans do not merely survive, you inspire, you create. You bring life to places that seem empty. That is your strength. They learned how to combine their energy flows, creating patterns that balanced warmth and cold, wind and stillness. Even the smallest changes had surprising effects. A slight adjustment in one ice ridge could alter the path of the wind, causing mist to rise in new formations, while a careful release of warmth could smooth sharp edges without melting the ice entirely. Myra twirled in delight, sending a cascade of frost spirals into the air. It's like painting with energy, she exclaimed. And the ice, it's alive, it responds to us. It's alive and we're part of it. That is why humans endure where others fail. Work together and show the planet your strength, your curiosity, and your creativity. Kesh shaped the wind, creating swirls that carried the mist into elegant arcs. Armin coordinated their flows, weaving patterns that connected the movements like threads of light. The lake became a living canvas. Mist spiraled, winds danced, and the ice shimmered with a life of its own. The crew laughed and cheered at each new formation, amazed at the beauty they had created together. This is incredible, Myra whispered, her eyes wide. We didn't just survive here, we brought life to it. You leave traces of life wherever you go, even in the coldest, most unfamiliar worlds. That is your gift. Armin stepped forward, feeling the warmth in his chest, not just from the alien or their energy, but from pride in his crew. We came here thinking survival was the goal, but now I see survival is only the beginning. Adaptation, creativity, and cooperation, those are what truly define humanity. That's part of what keeps us going. That is why your kind is remarkable. We have learned so much here, not just about survival, but about ourselves, about what humans are capable of when we face the unknown, when we work together, when we dare to create. You endure not because the universe is easy, but because you make it meaningful. That is the essence of humanity. I only help you see. Humans are always capable of more than they realize. That is why I watch your kind with hope. Mist swirled in delicate spirals, wind danced in elegant currents, and ice reflected it all in sparkling beauty. For a moment, they simply watched, marveling at what they had accomplished together. Armin realized that Glaciera had taught them more than any technology or training ever could. It had shown them the value of patience, observation, creativity, and teamwork. It had shown them that humanity's greatest strength was not merely surviving, but thriving, turning challenges into opportunities, danger into beauty, and the unknown into adventure. As the stars reflected on the ice, Armin smiled at his crew. We came here thinking survival was the goal, but now I see that humans are stronger than we thought. Not because of suits or machines, but because of heart, curiosity, courage, and laughter. That is what makes us endure, adapt, and thrive. Yes, you endure, you create, you inspire. The universe is vast and challenging, yet your kind thrives. That is why you are remarkable. They had faced a frozen, unknown world, learned its hidden patterns, survived storms, and discovered the strength within themselves. They had grown not just as explorers, but as humans capable of harmony, creativity, and courage in the face of the unknown. And in that quiet, frozen valley, with the twin suns below the horizon and stars reflected in the ice, humanity had left its mark, not with destruction or dominance, but with understanding, adaptation, and beauty. Glaciera had been transformed from a harsh, silent world into a place of life, energy, and possibility. Armin closed his eyes, smiling. Humanity had survived, yes, but more than that, they had thrived. They had grown, learned, and created something beautiful. And that, he knew, was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of unknown worlds, but humanity was ready. Stronger, wiser, and braver than ever, they would continue to explore, adapt, and leave their mark wherever they went. The alien's glow lingered over the frozen valley, a silent witness to humanity's triumph. Yes, she whispered to herself, they endure, they thrive, they inspire, and that is why humans will always shine, even in the coldest corners of the universe.